Hello, this is Jerry Morton. Welcome to my podcast series titled Finding My Way, a Memoir by Jerry Morton. This is podcast 75, Stuck and Unstuck. Podcast 75, Stuck and Unstuck, relates events I observed and was involved in that demonstrate the strength of one's beliefs when making decisions or interpreting the behavior of others. These interactions took place during my time at the alternative school. I estimate that these events happened around 1990. Podcast 75, Stuck and Unstuck. As I have related in the past several podcasts, it is important to understand the power one's belief system has over how each of us interprets the facts of a situation. This understanding is critically important when working with the at-risk student population sent to the alternative school. I want to relate two more stories from my time at the alternative school for 7th to 12th graders during the late 1980s and early 1990s that demonstrates this reality. Around 1990, I needed to make a request of the school board that was the primary supplier of suspended or expelled students and the main financial supporter of the Alternative Center. I was scheduled to make my request of the board at its regularly scheduled monthly meeting. A member of the Alternative School Board of Directors was also a member of the school systems board. He had made the arrangements for me to be on the agenda. My presentation was scheduled in the middle of the topics to be addressed by the board. I hadn't paid attention to the agenda items being considered by the school board. I was surprised to be observing a heated debate concerning the paddling of children in the school system. It was common knowledge that paddling was fairly widespread throughout the schools. I was unaware that the board was going to consider seriously restricting the use of paddling that afternoon. The debate was heated. Both sides of the issue vigorously argued their case. My impulse was to express my opinion, but sound judgment enabled me to resist the urge. No one wanted to know that the alternative school, under my leadership, did not use punishment as a way to control the behavior of students. We emphasized the positive behaviors of the individual students and use positive reinforcement to promote an ever-increasing display of those good behaviors. The alternative school did allow the natural consequences of inappropriate behaviors to take place. For example, if a student brought a gun to campus, we reported it to the police. We would also report to the presiding judge of the case all of the good things that the student accomplished at the school. The pro and con discussions of allowing students to be paddled grew more and more heated. Finally, a school board member's comments brought the discussion to a close, and a vote on the issue was taken. The elderly school board member's pro-paddling statement went like this. I was probably paddled more than any other child in this school system throughout my elementary school years in this county. I was always getting into trouble, but look at me now. At this point, I thought, you mean being a member of this school board at this time in your life is your crowning accomplishment? I knew better than to even allow my expression of amazement at this guy's statement to cross my face. He went on, You know, this is where my wife disagrees. She told me that in first grade, her teacher was always paddling children. She said that she was so afraid of being paddled that she never spoke a word in class for the whole year. "See," I said to her, "it works." Shortly after this comment, the board voted on the issue. It voted to allow the school system's paddling policy to remain as it was. At the alternative school, we recognized how important it was to have emotionally healthy adults interact with the students. There were specific actions the school supported to assist the staff in maintaining their emotional health within the school environment. For those of you interested in exploring them in depth, it is recommended that you read the book Rosa Kennedy and I wrote, A School for Healing: Alternative Strategies for Teaching at-Risk Students. Two key strategies I want you to understand before I relate the next account of events are the "Hey Rube" intervention and the use of the quiet room. If a teacher or staff person becomes emotionally agitated or stressed while interacting with a student, any staff member has the right to walk up to the staff person and say, "May I help?" This is the code word for the intervening staff person to let the stressed staff member know that she or he is perceived to be emotionally off balance. The intervening staff person is now the lead person in interacting with the student involved in the situation. Collectively, we all knew how important it was for only emotionally healthy staff to be interacting with students. The alternative school staff fully supported this policy. The quiet room was a place where a teacher or a student could retreat to during the school day. A staff person was always in the quiet room. Soft music was played there. The only requirement on a student who went to the quiet room was that a textbook be brought along. The individual did not have to study from it. He or she could sleep, eat a snack, talk to the staff person there, play checkers with another student already there, or participate in other activities as long as it did not disturb others. The student or staff person did not have to explain why he or she wanted to go to the quiet room. Typically, the person going to the quiet room was stressed and wanted to remove him or herself from the situation before it evolved into a confrontation with others or produced behaviors that would be regretted later. The following account is discussed in the School for Healing book. I was sitting in a converted classroom of the old school building our host school system provided to the Alternative Center, working on a stack of papers when a loud eruption of shouting and angry words boomed from the hallway. I immediately went out to see what the crisis was. The scene was chaotic. Adolescents were spilling out of the classroom, following a petite teacher and a young female student who were engaged in a shouting match with a large black male student. I mean, this guy was big and muscular. You would think he was a Division I college football player. He kept poking a large finger at the little female, shouting so loud that it was not possible to make out the individual words. Undaunted, the student was shouting back, "That's not true! You're wrong! Not true, not true!" The 110-pound teacher was pushing her way between the two angry students as she kept shouting to the accuser, "You don't—" Well, I couldn't make out anything else she said as the two shouting students and the shouting of the other students from the classroom blended into a blur of raised voices. Stepping between the teacher and the black student, I said to the teacher, Can I help?" "Yes, he came into the classroom and she," nodding to the girl, "she went up to him. The black adolescent cut her off saying, 'She accused me of stealing her purse. I just walked into the classroom. Just because I'm black, she—'" No, that's not it," the white girl started saying when the black guy cut her off. "Just because I'm black. Just because I'm black. Racism." "Wait a minute," I cut him off. "We do not support racism. I knew something terrible had to have happened to you. Racism. Racism is serious and not tolerated in this school. Please come over to my office and explain this to me. I have to put a stop to racism. It just can't be allowed. Please come into my office and help me understand." Everyone had stopped talking. They looked at us as we went into the room across from their classroom. The teacher nodded her head to me as she turned to usher the students back into their classroom. As the two of us sat at the table facing each other, I asked him to explain how he got exposed to this terrible situation. "Well, I just walked into the classroom and she comes up to me even before I got to my seat and she says, 'Have you seen my purse?' I mean, I'm the first one she approached in the whole classroom to ask. Just because I'm black, a black man, she just assumes I stole her purse just because I'm black, and now you're going to kick me out of this school." "No, I'm not talking about kicking you out of the school. I'm trying to root out racism. This is terrible to have happened to you." "Yeah, you're going to kick me out, but I'm right." Quietly, I commented, "Gee, it was what, 10 or 10:15 when you first got to school? I don't understand." "Yeah, I overslept. I woke up sleeping beside the fridge. It was already time for school to start. I was really hungry. I hadn't eaten anything since lunch here yesterday. My house is about 5 miles away. I ran all the way hoping to get here before they closed the free breakfast. It just closed. They had put all the food away." I made a mental note to make sure that in the future we always had food available for any student to eat at any time before I asked, Why didn't you get to eat last night?" "Well, after school, I always go back to my old high school. It's a long, long walk there. They won't let me play basketball because of my bad grades and getting kicked out and all. I'm the best player in the school. The basketball coach sneaks me into the gym and has me play against the varsity team. He says it keeps me in shape and makes the other kids better to play against me. So I don't get home until late, after dark. When I got home, my mom wasn't in the house. I don't know where she was. There's nothing in the fridge, nothing to eat in the house. I got no money. There's no money in the house. I'm really hungry. I slide down the fridge and sit on the floor. If I fall asleep, I'll hear her come in the house. She'll buy me something. It's hard to fall asleep. I feel so bad. Finally, late, I just fell asleep. Like I said, I woke up and realized I was late for school and late for the breakfast. When I got here, I was all tight. I was all nerves. I knew I was about to explode. If anyone said anything to me, I just might go off. I felt miserable. I was so hungry. I didn't want to explode. I had to calm down, so I went to the quiet room. I don't know. Maybe I was there an hour. It was calming. I was okay, so I decided to go to the classroom. Was there anything to eat in the quiet room? There was an old banana. I ate it. Anyway, I just walk into the classroom and she comes up to me first thing and accuses me. Says I stole her purse. That was it. I don't take being accused just because I'm black. It's not right. You are right. That should not have happened to you. I want to get to the bottom of this. Would it be all right if I went back to the classroom and talked to the teacher about this? What's the point? You're going to kick me out. No one said anything about that. Not you or anyone else in this school should have to endure racism. We just won't stand for that here. Just wait here. I'm going to get this straightened out. Okay. I walk across the hallway and into the classroom to ask the teacher to step out into the hallway so we could discuss what I had learned. After she had passed some instructions on to her teacher's aide, we left the room. I started. He says she accused him of stealing her purse before she asked anyone else just because he's a black man. Yes, I know. That's not what happened. He got to the class late and asked me if he could go to the quiet room because he was about to explode. I agreed. While he was gone, the girl realized that she had misplaced her purse. She knew she had put it down somewhere, but just couldn't remember where that was. She had asked everyone in the classroom if they had seen her purse. He was the only one she had not asked because he wasn't there. When he came back into the classroom, about 10:15 or so, I could tell she was so excited. She was thinking maybe he had seen where she had left it. She went right up to him, even before he got to his seat, and asked him if he had seen her purse. He went off like a Roman candle. That's when everything spilled out into the hallway. You just couldn't talk to him the way he was so angrily shouting and going on. I was afraid he was going to hurt somebody. Well, I will have to go back and explain this to him. He really thought he was being unjustly accused of stealing just because he's black. No, that was never the case. Actually, a lot of the kids look up to him. Did you know that he's a real athlete? They say he's unbelievable on the basketball court. Do you think we can salvage this? I hope so. I'll talk to him, see what he says, and come back. I returned to the office and sat across from him. What did she say? She said to kick me out, didn't she? No, she never mentioned it. She said the girl knew she had lost her purse. She knew no one had stolen it. She had lost it first thing in the morning. She had asked all of the kids in the class if they had seen the purse. None of them had. She was so excited when you came to the class late. She saw you as her last hope of finding her purse. That's why she came up so quickly to you to ask if you had seen her purse. She was hoping that you'd be the one to help her find it. He sat there for several seconds and just stared at me. Breaking the silence in a soft voice, he said, I know you have to kick me out. But before you do, can I please go and apologize to my teacher and the girl? No one has said anything about kicking you out. No one's going to kick you out. This was just an honest misunderstanding. There were two understandable mistakes. You misunderstood the situation. Your reaction was understandable, but premature. You were trying to correct a real injustice as you understood it, but you were overreacting due to being so tired and hungry. You were tired and hungry for understandable reasons. This has been a wonderful learning opportunity for all of us. We thank you for that. Now let me see what the teacher and the girl have to say. In the hallway, I explained to the teacher that he wants to apologize to her and the girl before we kick him out. No, we're not going to do that. I'm with you on that call. It's fine for him to apologize to me. I'm sure it'll be fine with Sally. Let me get her and we can ask just to be on the safe side. Yes, that's a good call. Before you get her, let me share with you what he told me had happened to him yesterday evening and this morning. When I had finished relating his story, she brought the girl out to the hallway. I explained that he wanted to apologize to her and the teacher for his outburst. He didn't understand what had happened and overreacted. He was truly sorry, I thought. She readily agreed to accept his apology and said that she understood how he could have misinterpreted the situation. I returned to the office and told him that they would meet him in the hallway. They would gladly accept his apology and understood that it was all about a misunderstanding that could have happened to anyone in his situation. We met in the hallway. He apologized. They accepted it. They shook hands. All three returned to the classroom. The rest of the day proceeded in a normal fashion. Thereafter, the alternative school always had dry cereal, fruit, and milk available for any hungry person arriving late in the morning.